My wonderful viewers of kindergarten, welcome to today's lesson on social studies. Last week on social study, we talked about risk factor in eating bad food. Risk factor in eating bad food. And we said that risk factor in eating bad food are those things that causes diseases or illnesses after eating food. Those things that causes diseases or illnesses after eating food. And examples of those things that causes diseases or make our food bad are when you add what you're not supposed to add to your food. Example, by adding sugar to your cooked beans, it makes it bad. It contaminates the food and makes the food bad for consumption. So today we are going to be looking at risk factor in food distribution and preparation. Risk factor in food distribution and preparation. What are those factors? What are the risk factors in the food distribution and preparation? Number one, we have poor storage. We have poor storage. Okay, some of the risk factor in food distribution and preparation are, number one, we have poor storage. This is when food are not properly kept in the right way or at the right place. When food is not properly kept in the right way or at the right place. For example, storing your food in the toilet. When you store your rice, your beans in the toilet, and you know very well that our toilets are not still on the poor storage. When you store your food like rice, beans at the toilet, and we know very well that our toilet is not the right place or the proper place to store our food, it exposes the food and thereby making the food harmful for us to consume. Number two, we have unclean environment. Unclean environment. This is when food is prepared in a dirty place. This simply means preparing your food, cooking your food in a dirty place. For example, your mom cooking in a dirty kitchen, cooking in an open field that is dirty. It exposes the food to germs and other flies that can cause diseases to our health. Number three, we have high temperature. High temperature. This is when food is kept in a place that is too hot or cold. Keeping food in a hot temperature or a cold temperature. Some of the food that we can put in the hot, that we store in a hot temperature that makes it bad are, for example, there are some food when you keep them in a high temperature, they make the food overripe or spoiled, and thereby making the food bad or dangerous to our consumption. Example of such food are your fruit and your vegetable. When you store your mango or your orange in a high temperature, it makes the mango overripe or the orange overripe for you to consume. Okay, having known the risk factor in our food distribution and preparation, this brings us to guide to food safety. Guide to food safety simply means ways of making our food safe for us to consume, making our food safe for consumption. And number one way we can make our food safe for consumption is by always reading the food label. Always reading the food label. We read the food label to make sure the food are still intact. They have not expired or the registration number are intact. Always read your food label. Number two, always observe sign of food sporage. Always observe the sign of food sporage. Make sure the food you want to consume are not already spoiled or damaged. For example, make sure you look at the mango you want to eat or the orange you want to eat, leak well, so to avoid the the orange you want to take, make sure it's not spoiled before you take. Number 3, washing your hands before and after food preparation. Always make sure you wash your hands before you cook, and after cooking you wash your hand. Even while eating, before you eat, always wash your hand, and after eating you also wash your hand. Let's take the note down. Okay, we want to go back to the lesson one more time. We are talking of risk factor in food distribution and preparation. And we say some of the risk factor in food distribution and preparation are poor storage. This is when food are not properly kept in the right way or at the right place. Number 2, unclean environment. This is when food is prepared in a dirty place. Number 3, we have high temperature. This is when food is kept in a place that is too hot, keeping food in a hot temperature. Okay, guides to food safety. Guide to food safety. Things we have to do to make sure the food we eat are safe. I said number 1, we should always read the label in food for expiring date and the registration by NAFDAC. Always read the food label to check the expiring date and the NAFDAC registration number. Number 2, we have observe signs of food spoilage. Make sure you always observe signs of food spoilage to know whether the food you want to consume is already spoiled or not. Number 3, we have washing of hands before and after eating or preparing your food. Make sure you always wash your hand before eating and after eating. Number 4, we have keep all foodstuff in a safe place. Make sure your foodstuff are properly safe to avoid germs or other harmful substances. Okay, that brings us to the end of today's lesson. But before we go, I would like to give you a homework. Okay, in our homework today, you are going to give me list two risk factor in food distribution and preparation. You are going to tell me the two risk factor in food distribution and preparation. Number 2 question, mention 3 guides to food safety. You are to mention 3 guides to food safety. We have 4, you are to give me 3. Okay, that brings us to the end of today's lesson. Always remember to stay safe. Bye.